There we go. And now I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Okay, motivation for the unmotivated. So welcome everyone. I'm Coach Stacy Ann, trying to be your motivation coach here. And tonight we are going to talk about some ideas on how we can get motivated. And I realize it's difficult. It's difficult for me as well. So for those of you who don't know me, I am a former middle school teacher, and I also have 5 master's degrees. One of them is in education, and then human resource management, information systems management, public administration, and an MBA with a focus in project management. So I'm pretty motivated when it comes to learning. I believe in education, but at my core, I'm a teacher and I'm an entrepreneur. So those are some things that I know about myself. And if you know about you too and what makes you tick, you need to work on going on that path to move forward. So let me tell you some of my stumbling blocks in life where I get unmotivated. I feel like I get unmotivated when I'm not going in the direction of my core, right? Sometimes it's harder to do things when it's not really like the fire we feel inside of us, but we all have to pay bills, right? So sometimes it can be tricky. So when you're feeling unmotivated, one thing to do is to come back to your core and who you are. And I know one thing that I would like to do in my life and is start a school someday, because I'm really passionate about education, obviously, but I just have these ideas in my head and I'm like, oh, I'd like to implement this. And I think this would help students. And when I feel like I can help other people, I get really motivated. Again, it's at my core, it's teaching. So something that I thought about, the reason I started doing these talks is because I'm like, wow, I can help people virtually. I can I can talk about some of the ideas that have been going through my mind, and I can help others, hopefully in my own small way, virtually, even if I'm not in a classroom. So I found that really inspiring and motivating. So that's part of the reason why I do this as well, or why I started doing these little sessions. Does anybody have any questions? I know I've kind of been going off on a bunch of ideas. Any questions, any thoughts? You can either unmute yourself and ask it or put it in the chat, whatever works for you. Oh, and Ebony, great. Glad you're here, Ebony.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Actually, this is my first meeting, so I'm just popping in. I'm just curious to know, like, how to get motivated, pretty much.
Okay, great. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Um, so one part of these events, I kind of do a little talk and then a Q&A, but then I've also found I'm trying to do some more interacting, because one way that people, and particularly adults, tend to learn better is when it's hands-on, when you can make it useful. I know for me, I'm a hands-on learner. I'm like one of those people where throw me to the fire and I just kind of have to sink or swim and figure it out, and then take all my lessons learned and try to improve it next time.
Right.
That's pretty much, I know how I learn. Like, and then I like things broken down in a very structured way. I like things to go from a big picture to smaller components. Again, I've learned what makes me tick. How do things work for me most effectively? And when they do, I can be more motivated. But the thing, so I would encourage you, find out or figure out what works for you. Because here's the thing to remember in life. Okay. I was having this discussion today as I was at work and I got kicked off. Somebody did an error at the tech desk and they disabled my email account. So I was having a bit of a breakdown. Now, so what does that mean? So sometimes people want to do things or show you things according to what they think. Now, again, I told you teaching's at my core, being an entrepreneur is at my core. So what does that mean? I like to break things down for people. I like to assess people and figure out how they look at things so I can break it down in a way that's going to make sense for them. And here's the thing to remember. Most people do not do that. Okay. Most people. So one other thing is you've got the technology and texting, right? Here's what drives me crazy because I know what kind of learner I am. I had the tech desk person texting me and I'm not able to tell him what I was seeing on the screen. Again, I was kicked offline, right? I couldn't get back on my computer for work. And I'm like, can you call me? Because what am I? I'm an auditory learner. I need to hear things, hear the sound, and then be able to visualize it, and then be able to do something with that information. So I hear a lot of people will say they're visual learners. I can't just look at something. I have to hear it and then visualize it internally and make sense of it and do something with that. But everybody just wants to text. I'm like, I need to hear your voice. I'm not going to remember, or I'm not going to comprehend as much when I see it. So those are just a few little tips that I would encourage you. Any other thoughts before we continue? Anyone have any questions? Have I stirred anything or confused anybody?
No, you excuse me, but I did want to say that I think it's really great that you have.
Oh, excuse me, Ebony. I'm sorry. Could you just speak up a little bit? I'm having a little hard time hearing you.
Sorry, it's my head. I think it's really great that you have spectrum of how to teach, because I think it's very important for people to learn in various different ways. I think that people shouldn't be restricted.
Ebony, I'm sorry. I think you're saying really important things, and I'm just you're muffled. I don't know if anybody else can make out. Maybe you want to type it in the chat, Ebony. I don't want to miss what you're saying. And maybe. Oh, thanks, Ebony. You know what? Yeah, that's a great idea. Folks that are unmuted, I'm just for background noise, I'm just going to go ahead and mute you. But when you have something to say and contribute, or if you want to, speak or ask a question, feel free to unmute yourself then. But just for the background noise, if that's all right with y'all, I'm just going to mute people if you're not talking. Okay. You're right, Ebony. People shouldn't be. So Ebony was saying, she's writing direct message me that there's a broad spectrum of the way people learn, and it can be very frustrating. Like, I know one project I'm trying to work on at my current work, and what happens is there is a team that I'm working with, and they have a really specific jargon and way of looking at things, and I'm trying to get them to explain it to me, and I'm kind of like, trying to understand their perspective, but I just see it in a little different ways. Like the way I would break things down is different than the way that they would break things down. So I'm not saying there's a right and a wrong. It's just different, right? So there's some people, and that's why there's so many different teachers too. I say you need more teachers because you need somebody who's going to break things down the way that works for you, right? And everyone is different. So um, I taught a few different grades. I've taught 6, 7, and 8, and then 9 and 12 special ed. And then also when I was teaching high school, I directed a school play. So I worked with those about 60 children across grades 9 through 12. So when I've taught middle school math, language arts, and special education, I've worked with students at all various levels. Oh, thank you so much. You're so sweet. So I just believe in and teachings. When I went to get my teacher of students with disabilities certification, um, it really heightened my thought process in thinking about, well, um, I have text. Here's something for somebody to read. Well, is a text large enough? Are you thinking about somebody who might have vision problems, might not be diagnosed? Oh, are you thinking about somebody with hearing problems that may not want to admit that they have a hearing problem? You know, I work with somebody who has a hearing aid and she can't always hear on the one side. And are people thinking about that when they're speaking to her? And not that she wants to point it out. Who wants to do that, right? Nobody, but we kind of need to, that's why we need to read people and kind of think about these different things. And I would always write things on the board in different areas. And I would, when I was teaching math, one thing I do is I put the problems down, but then I also write out the steps because not everyone knows, you know, what was being done at different points in time. So, but thank you so much. That's a big compliment out of me. I appreciate that. Um, anyone else have any thoughts? And thank you to those who just joined. I've kind of just been giving a little bit of a background and just some thoughts on motivation. I just wanted to just start with a little bit of information like that. Anybody else have anything before we continue and get into some good stuff? I want to see some active participation from everybody. Again, it's hard to get motivated, but you're here. So that says to me that you want to. So I know you have the ability. I know it's inside of you. And I hope that we can unlock a few of the blockers that may be stopping you. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going again. Feel free to unmute yourself or write something in the chat. I will try to keep an eye on that. So, so I hope that you'll find this to be a powerful event. I'm doing the best I can. You know, I'm kind of getting started into actually teaching motivation. So with your feedback and input in the techniques that I offer and the questions will help me to continue to develop and become better and to try and put out material that's going to help people. So just know I take it really seriously and I really think about what people have to say in order to try to incorporate what's going to be useful. I really believe in doing that. So, you know, so just what to expect tonight is your participation because this is your life. You know, I can't do it for you. You're going to have to do it. Okay. You're going to have to do it. You control you. And you are the one in control of making your life better. You are the one in charge of getting yourself to do what it is that you want to do, to succeed, to succeed and to feel your sense of accomplishment in your life, right? So this is all about you. Again, it's not about me. I know I'm talking too much sometimes, but I'm just trying to give you ideas and let you know that I support you. I'm here for you. I'm going to do the best to be your cheerleader. And I know you can do it. And I wouldn't waste my time doing this talk or offering this advice if I didn't believe it would be helpful or if I didn't believe that you could do it. So make sure you have something to write with if you can, or type on your computer, whichever works for you. I believe in paper and pen, but I love to write personally. Um, and then, you know, just be ready to share. You don't have to share a lot. I know it's scary. It's like you're here and you don't know who all the people are. Maybe we can do a little bit of intros too, but if you can at least share something, I find that it can stir up um, things inside of you to that can help be motivational as well. Once you verbalize it, you're writing it down, you're making it more concrete. It can be very beneficial. And if you're not sure to say what to say or what to put down, feel free to ask. Okay. We need to ask questions sometimes. And I see a hand up and I don't see all the squares. So if I miss you, feel free to put something in the chat. Is it Yaha? Yahaya? I'm not sure how you say it.
Yes. Hi, Stacy. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Thanks for
Yeah. How are you,
coming.
everyone? Yeah. Thank you. I'm Yaya Zadeh, and first thing I wanted to thank you. Thank you for holding this meeting. It's really I think very helpful for everyone, and I'm sure all people who participated. Participating today, they're gonna get at least something from this meeting. For me, I'm an electrical contractor, but I'm facing a lot of difficulty. Like, for example, like every day, like a one day, every day I tell myself, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna do this, this, this. I have a lot of motivation. Uh, uh, and then, but when the next day comes, and then all that motivation kind of go out of the doors, and the motivations go down. So I like one of the things I like to learn sometimes is how to keep that motivation so high that's not gonna dissipate, after the next day. That's something is very it bothered me because one day I have a big motivation, like a lot of motivation, but when the next day comes, it's gone, and then I goes down again, feel down, and I don't want to do anything to change my life. And one thing you mentioned is really I hear about it before also, is about this is our life. Okay, this is our life. So we nobody else gonna change it other than ourselves. And so if it's our life, so we have to make it the way we want. We have to make it we have to run it the way we like. We should not just let it goes the way we don't want. So that's something I really appreciate. You just mentioned it, and it's just a reminder. It's just a reminder for me. And that's for now. I just wanted to thank you and just participate in the meeting.
Great. Thank you for your feedback. Appreciate it and glad that you are putting yourself out there, sharing your thoughts. I love that. So I really celebrate you for that. Now, coming back to your when you were talking about how you have that motivation that one day and you have that long list of things that you want to do, and then the next day it's just like, right, it all goes to the to the tank. Right, it goes away. And this is very common, very typical. I myself get like that. So here is my suggestion, and I'm giving you this suggestion because it helped me. So this is what I did. Okay. So when I said to you guys that I write a lot, so here's like one of my notebooks. And if you were to see my desk and my space, you would see tons of notebooks. I'm kind of notorious for buying notebooks and pens. I love them. And I would sit and every day, I would write my to-do list and the things that I wanted to accomplish. And it could go, to a page, 2 pages, 3 pages. And my list wasn't getting any shorter, not getting any shorter. Just all the thoughts on the page. Here's what I want to accomplish. Here's what I want to do. But I wasn't making any progress on my list. Right. And the next day I'm like, yeah, well, I got that list. I made it. Okay. Wasn't working. So I got this. Somebody had said this someplace. I can't remember where, but if I think about it, I'll post it. Pick 1 or 2 things that you must accomplish first. You must do it before anything else. So here was part of my list. I am currently working on becoming a project manager. And so there is this, if you're not familiar, some of you may be, this project management certification by PMI. They call it a PMP cert. I've been trying to do it since 2018. I had been trying to do my application. It's like you have to put in down all this documentation. And I had it on my top list. I'm like, I have to do this before anything else. Right. But I wasn't doing it until I took everything else off my list. And I just put that down. I can't do anything else until I do my PMP application. Okay. And while, yes, all other things are important, I needed to do that. I finally got my application done and approved in February, and I am now studying for my exam. And then I will get my certification. Right. So I would try to, and I know it's so hard because it's like, yeah, but I want these other things too. And I realized that you will get to them, but we need to focus. It's like when they talk about, so here's something very interesting. And this is part of, I tell you guys, I want to start a school. And so I like to have all these little components that I'd like to add to my school. And I sit and think about in my mind, like the students and where I feel like students were going wrong or what they're missing and what's stopping them from being successful. And it's this ability to focus. So when you hear about these really like rich, successful people, your Elon Musk's and your, I don't know, whoever, there's lots of them. It's the ability to focus that I believe is something that really separates them from other people. They can focus on one task so strongly that they are making it happen. So that's why when we make our lists, well, our focus is on everything on the list, right? Like I said, 2-3 pages I could go with my to-do. But then it's like, well, where should my focus be? What should I do first? Oh wait, but I want to do this. Oh, but I want to do that. I would encourage, that's why it's like, scrap the list, one thing, start with that. And once you've done it, I want you to reward yourself. So no, maybe it's a treat. Maybe it's your favorite ice cream. Maybe it's a favorite place you like to go to. I want you to have one thing, complete it and celebrate it. And I want it to be something you can look forward to as your motivation. So that would be my suggestion. Again, I offer what helped me. So I hope that could be something to help you too. Anyone else? Okay. Oh, I think we have some feedback in the chat. Oh, good. Yeah. That's a great idea. Prioritizing one goal. Yes, we're taking away the roadblocks. So part of my project manager training too is removing roadblocks from people. So what's the roadblocks? And I find it's when I can't, when my focus is like, well, here, 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 and I'm splitting it too much and it puts me into a panic and then I don't do anything. And I don't know if that's exactly what's happening to you, but I know that personally that's what's happened to me. So please let me know if you try it and if it works, because I'd be really interested. And it, again, it's something that other people have told me that has worked for them. So wasn't completely original. But so now here's something to remember. And I feel like this gets lost sometimes. And I love to have some feedback on this. But here's what you need to know. The world needs your gifts. It needs what you have to offer. It needs your skills. The world needs it. And I think we forget that sometimes, where we think, oh, I'm not important, or what I have to say or do isn't as important. And I want you to know it is. It is. We do need you. And I see a hand up. Lamb, how you doing?
Hi,
Oh, you're
Stacy. It seems like a
hi.
long time. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. How about yourself? Oh, there
All
you
right.
are.
Still
Hi,
here, still learning.
good.
You never, yeah,
Never
ne-
give up. I believe in you.
never give up. Thank you. And I believe
I think
in
our just
you.
our Lamar connection is a little bit shaky. You're like
I
a
got
little bit on
stuck a
vibration.
little bit on it. Oh, I don't know. Can you hear me okay now?
That's a little better.
Okay. I'll try to keep the phone steady,
Oh,
maybe.
okay. There
Helps.
you go.
Um, I, I got stuck. Helped in the beginning you said about knowing yourself. So, you know, I don't know if you want to talk about that, or if that's even a whole subject by itself. But what if you don't know, what path to take? Then it's hard to motivate yourself. Huh?
Oh, can you just pause right there, because I love it that you brought that up, and I did want to mention this. I was actually, before we did this talk, so that's one of the things that was coming to me that I did want to mention. And again, as I'm talking through things, I always have flashbacks to my students and then myself as a student. Um, what I feel like, and this is what I want for my school, is I feel like students don't get enough chances to try different things. And it's like, then we grow up and it's like, oh, we're supposed to know what to do with our lives, what careers, what jobs to have, where to live, who to marry, what to do with ourselves. And it's like, well, when did I get a chance to try? When did I get a chance to know everything that's out there? So part of what I feel like they do a disservice to students when you just expect them to know or to have some idea inside of them and they don't. And I feel like, well, that's just not fair, because you need to be given a chance to try. So one thing that I was going to say, Lamb, is if you have the ability, I start trying things, or even if maybe you have a full-time job and so you can't switch and just try things, but maybe at night, is there a way you can um, maybe find others who are doing something and maybe do small projects on the side, maybe offer your services, maybe as a way to just try other things. So I'm sorry. That's something I want to incorporate in my school for kids. But I'm sorry, but continue. I did stop you. I apologize.
No, that's fine. I know that's where I wanted to stop myself. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I would suggest we try, and that's why I've I've had a bunch of different jobs, because but I'm somebody who I like different things, right? Again, I'm like this entrepreneur and a teacher, but everybody keeps saying, "Oh, Stacey, you're a natural born teacher, or you should be teaching and doing this or that." And um, sometimes I'm like, but I feel I need to open this school. And it's like, I feel like I don't have a choice sometimes. So what do we, because internally I just feel this calling to me. So, but I would encourage trying things as you can. And I know, I've been a teacher. I'm trying to do project management. I've been a business analyst, advancement director. I've just done um, directed a school play. I've just worked in a bunch of different areas, but I still feel like I haven't tried enough. I'm like, well, but I wish I could be a doctor, or maybe I can be a lawyer, or maybe I could start my own big tech company and make big money or something too. So, we don't all get a chance to try that many things. And I think that that's not our fault, but kind of gotta, maybe through volunteering. Something cool that I found out, there's this website called Nepri, or Nepris it's called. And I started doing little guest appearances at different schools. And what I mean by guest appearances is um, it's this service, and they look for volunteers to participate in different school activities virtually. And I think it's really cool. So, you get a chance to talk to the kids, or just like get a chance to offer what you have to others. It's just a volunteer thing. But I would encourage, looking on Volunteer Match. Maybe you can find something that will give you, a chance to try some different things.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other thoughts? Anyone else? Okay, let's see. So let's see. No. So here's where I'd like you to take a moment here to write down a few things. What's holding you back? Just try to write down a few ideas. Right now, what do you think? What off the top of your head? What's holding you back? What's preventing you from being motivated to do what you want to do? And there's no right or wrong answer. It's what's true for you. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to brainstorm. All right. So I want to see everybody writing. Write down what's holding you back. Really think about it, either writing or typing, whatever makes sense for you. Oh, sorry. And I feel, did I miss a hand raise? I'm sorry about that. Okay. 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 And Jackie, why do you think, why do you think that is? What's, feelings, you're feeling unmotivated? Is it because maybe you haven't set your goals, or you don't know what you want? Even if you write that down, is it just unmotivated? Is it feeling defeated? Is it feeling like someone has let you down? Is it a feeling of loss? Like, where's the unmotivation coming from? What do you think is causing that? And I hear you, Ebony. Ebony, I'm, you know, and Ebony, if it's all right with you, I'd like to, Ebony wrote me directly, and I just wanted to address something. Okay, great, Jackie. And I want you to think about it. I want you to write it down somehow. Okay, I want you to think and maybe do some journaling. I want you to bring those thoughts. I want you to get them on paper if you can. Okay, just like let it flow. What's causing it? Because there's a root cause, and you kind of need to get to the stem of that. And Ebony, if it's okay, I just Ebony is referencing something having to do with the past. She's feeling like she missed out on things of the past. And here's what I need. Here's an important concept, and that I've had to learn it too. Again, I try to bring to you guys, what's happened to me as well. The past can haunt us sometimes. Like, oh, I didn't do this. Oh, I miss doing that. Oh, I wish I would have done that before. We need to stop that. And it's so hard because we want to cling to that. I know I've done it, okay, for a long time, where I cling to, oh, I wish I would have majored in this. Oh, I wish I would have went to this place instead. Oh, I wish I would have known to make friends with these people. Oh, I wish I would have known to do that. I can sit and beat myself up, and I have, to a pulp constantly. But here's the problem. You get nowhere by doing that, except into the pity party. And that's what I say. It just puts you down in the rabbit hole. My friends, I've been in the rabbit hole. When we sit and think, oh, I should have did this and that. Yes, we sit in that rabbit hole. And you know what? The dirt just keeps piling on and on and on. And it makes it even harder to move forward. We need to, this is where it comes, when I was talking about the focus, this is where that comes in. We have to focus on the now. What can you do and control now? I sit and I have to train my brain to say, no, what's right now? What do I want right now? What can I do right now? Not what I should have done, not what I missed doing. No, you won't be successful until you can figure out how to disconnect from that. Excuse me. Okay. That is part of what's going to hold you back. And I know it's held me back too. Let me see. I just have a few other things here in the chat as I'm just reading this, and it can make you feel stuck. And regretting does sound like complaining. You are right. And it's called, and I'll tell you what it's called. I call it the pity party. You want to sit on your pity party or your pity pot and say, pity me, I should have done this. And it's like, oh, pity me, I should have done this, that, and the other thing. But you didn't. It didn't happen. And like, I can say, oh, yeah, and I've done it. And nobody wants to listen to a complainer, right? Oh, I should have done this or that. I should have started doing talks a long time ago. I should have been a psychologist. I should have done things to help people. Right. Okay. But I didn't. But I'm trying to do it now. Right. I can't change it. And the more I sit and dwell and think about it, the worse my mind gets and the more I get stopped from doing anything. So you want to hear something strange, you guys? So I'm going to tell you somebody who helped me. So I am, and you may have noticed, I'm a fan of the group New Kids on the Block. And I've been a fan since I was a teenager. And so here's this funny thing that I did. This one of the members of the group, he now has a YouTube channel, and he does this little YouTube show. And if you submit and say you want to ask, and it's Danny Wood, and you say you want to ask him some questions, and you can see this on YouTube if you wanted to look it up. You want to ask Danny questions, you submit them, and then if you get picked, you get to ask him the questions and talk to him live. So I had done this last October and November. I actually got to talk to him twice, but when I did it in October, and I was asking Danny, okay, millionaire, rich celebrity, right? And I said, how do you get motivated? Because I'm like, with the COVID being inside and stuff. And I remember Danny's response when I said this to him. He's like, I don't understand this. If you want to do something, just go out and do it. Just do it. Get out of the house. Just start it. Just go out and do it. And this was like, and I swear this is what happened. And I'm like, Danny said, and I'm like, Danny's right. I'm just going to start doing it. And so that, so I feel like it was just like a little kick in the butt from my favorite group. And I'm like, you're right, Danny. I'm just going to do it. And that's part of how I started doing when I had my list. I shortened it and I went and I put 2 things. My PMP was one, and right now I'm forgetting what the other one was. But I started there. Oh, I know it was my real estate license was the second one, but I've actually decided to not do that because I'm focusing on my PMP. Again, I took those 2 things and I narrowed it down to just one. I decided not to become a realtor also. I'm focusing on the PMP. See the focus. I'm going to get success in the one area and then move on to other things from there. So that was part of my little jump start. So I like, and I agree that the support is definitely very important. And you can find support hopefully through, my meetup group and other meetup groups out there. But I just thought that was a fun little story that I have where it was just like, Danny said to do it. I'm like, Stacy, he's right. And that's also what inspired me to start this group and start doing these talks was because of Danny. Okay. So anyway, all right. So if anybody else want to share any thoughts that you've got, what's holding you back? Anybody? Sometimes we verbalize things and it can unleash thoughts in our mind and help us to get going. Anyone? Okay, we're not ready. Okay, that's all right. If you change your mind, let me know. All right. So now here's another question I want you to answer. What do you want out of life? What do you want out of life? Just take a moment, write down. No right or wrong answer. You don't have to write in complete sentences. I know I'm a middle school language arts teacher, but I'm cool with it. Just just getting the thoughts down there, I'm not grading you. Hey, Liam, go ahead. Yeah, did you raise your hand again, Liam, or was that from
I
before? I
did.
just want to make sure. Okay,
I,
go ahead.
I did. I just kind of want to answer a little bit the question, half answer the question.
Go ahead.
It's I feel like it's me. The answer is me, but I can't put my finger on it. Like what, if it's procrastination or something else that's keeping me stuck. Does that make sense?
Well, I'm going to take a stab at guessing. Let's see if I know what you mean when you're saying that. So what I'm hearing from you is I feel like you haven't focused on your goals. You don't have that true that picture in your mind of what you want, and it's stopping you from doing anything because you haven't got clarity on that.
Yeah, but ties it together with what I said earlier about not knowing yet, like what path, to rock it through.
I want you to, well, you don't have to, but my suggestion, let's look for identify your strengths. Where are your strengths? Know yourself. There are, strength finders. There's inventories. You can find things online. What are you good at? Where are your strengths? What is it that you already know? Start there. Look at jobs, see what is out there that matches that. Look to see what other skills you may need to build, or if there's any specialty depending on what the job or career is. You may need to learn a couple things. I'd encourage you to try to do any other trainings to, again, to build what you already know, whether it's team, whatever skills are. I would encourage you to start there and look at different areas that interest you now. Try to talk to other people about them and just start knocking them out, start exploring one at a time.
Right. Thank you.
All right. Does anybody have anything that they wrote down that they want to share? Just like a thought, a sentence, anything? Let's see. I see something in the chat. Okay, turn your dreams into reality. That's a great one. So let me ask you this. So Yaya, I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right. May I take this sentence and just use it as an example? Would you be upset if I did that? I'm not throwing you under the bus, but I just, looking at what you said here, kind of just sparked something in my mind. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank
Yes, I
you.
am.
Great. So, so here's something that Yahya said, and I just want to point out. I'm going to put this in the chat. So here's what Yahya said. He said he wants to turn his dreams into reality. Now, oh yes, vision boards, great, Jackie. So when you're saying turn your dreams into reality, is that on your goal sheet? Is that okay? So here's why it's not working. This is not specific. It's not measurable. It's not on a time stamp. It's not actionable. It's too broad. So you're not going to be able to make heads or tails of this because you've just made this too broad, right? You turn your dreams. This is where I would say, well, list your dreams. I would like you to see, I would like you to do them in a specific way. Excuse me, when I say specific way, I would like you to be specific with each one and clear. I want you to be able to work on each one at a time. Again, coming back to the focus. And then that is then how your dreams will become reality. But if we just be like vague in how we write things, or even think about things, it's not going to transpire. And let me see, I see one other thing. The vision board's a great idea, Jackie. I've tried doing that myself. And I actually kind of did that with my project management idea. That's how I came up with that, as I kind of put that vision together. Okay, so Ebony, thank you. So you want to first learn how to accomplish your goals. First of all, you need them. What are they? And you need to, and this is where everybody talks about, you may hear about writing goals and learning how to write goals. And this is the reason, if they're not written in a certain way that makes them actionable, makes you be able to take action on them to make them happen, it's not going to work for you. So that's why people focus so much on how to write the goals. And then to go with the flow of change. And change is difficult. So I think I need to, I forget if I did a talk yet on change, but change, we want to take it in little pieces, piece by piece, and celebrate success. Any little success, any little action you've taken to make your dreams come true, I want you to celebrate. And a gratefulness journal can also be a way to achieve that goal that you just wrote to me. For learning lessons, write that grateful journal specifically. We need to be specific, what it is you're grateful for, why you're grateful, what is it doing for you. I try to give that as much detail as possible. You'll just get more benefit the more you can do. Oh, that's a great question. A vision board. So a vision board can be different for different people. And maybe that's actually something I can put together um, a training on a vision board. Ebony, I'm going to put a training together for that. Okay. Because I like that you asked that. And I feel like it's almost worth putting together a whole thing on that. So if you're okay with that, I'm going to put together a training on that. Any other thoughts? Okay. So here's another question. And again, Stacy, why are you making me do work and not just letting me listen to you? Okay. Your life isn't going to change until you change it. You need to take action. And I know your motivation is down. So unless we have these questions stirring us inside and having answers and writing things out in a way that we can take action, we're going to stay unmotivated, right? So what does success look like to you? Can you draw a picture of it or write it down? You know, it depends on what makes sense. If you want to buy a particular home, maybe you want to buy an island, maybe you want to start a business, you know, you want to draw a picture of it, you know, whatever's meaningful for you. I'm just going to give you a few seconds if you want to jot some things down. And I see some things in the chat. Oh, earlier times. Do you do Friday or weekend session? I usually do Sundays, and I had scheduled Wednesdays, but I will try and do. If you email me, Ebony, through Meetup, some times that work for you, I will try and find some other times. Yeah, I was thinking about doing things on a little more on the weekend. So yeah, so here I'm sending you my email, Ebony, and you can also message me directly through Meetup, whatever works best for you. Okay. I'll try and be a little bit flexible. Again, I'm studying for my PMP now, you guys. So that's taking up some of my time. So sometimes, so I have these study groups I'm doing on Tuesday and Thursday nights, and then I work all day. So that's what's kind of stopping me right now. As soon as I do that, I'll have a whole lot more sessions. I'm trying to be done by the end of May. Fingers crossed for me, guys. All right. So anyone want to share? Like, can you describe what a success looks like? Anybody have any? And if you didn't answer the questions, I hope you wrote down the questions. So maybe you can, you know, meditate on it, write down some answers tomorrow or later tonight. Anybody want to share? Oh, yeah. Yaya, go ahead.
Yes, success definitely. I mean, it looks different from different view. Like different people, they have a different angle about or different thought about success.
Yeah.
But from my view, success is it means like a couple things. If I get to like a financial freedom,
Okay.
I feel like a. So when I say financial freedom, so if I get financial free, that's me. I did all my homework. That means for me, like I put all my fears away. For example, it means a lot. It's not about money, financial freedom, because right now I don't have financial freedom because I have fear, I have lack of motivation, I have probably lack of knowledge. With all this negative stuff, I don't have financial freedom, right? So if I get to the financial freedom, that means I pass, like I put all that negative things away. I have more positive, and now I'm financial free, because if I have all that positive thing, I have all that. I mean, financial. I could get to where I want. So that's one of the things I look at, like I feel success look like for me.
And let me ask you this. So as you're saying that, do you have a dollar, and I'm not asking you to share what it is, but do you have a dollar value in mind? Do you have that written down? When I get to X amount in the bank, I'm okay. Have you done that?
Oh, that's a good question. I hear that also from other people too.
I know, because
Uh,
that's what you need to do.
sometimes, sometimes, yeah, we tell ourselves, okay, for example, I want to have like a $5 million, for example, or
But
$10 million for just something, but
can
not.
I tell you where you're setting yourself up for failure? Can I tell you where you're setting yourself up for
Yes,
failure?
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. It doesn't exist. Okay. It doesn't exist because you're going to put a dollar value on there, and then you'll get to that dollar and you'll be like, this still isn't enough. Okay. People drive themselves crazy. It's just like, I feel like it just doesn't exist. A dollar value. It's like, oh, there's just never enough money. You're kind of like setting yourself up for a little bit of failure or disappointment because you may just never get there. And I don't mean you won't have enough money. What I'm just saying is, while you may be, it comes to focus, you're focusing on that instead of focusing on what actions are you taking in your life to make yourself happy? What are you doing to make yourself profitable? What are you, because what value are you adding that's going to give you that income?
So I have a question.
Does that make sense? Yeah,
Yes,
go ahead.
I have a question. So when I mentioned financial freedom, for example, I want to have enough money. So it's just, that was just, I say like some millions, it's just, it wasn't exact. But I want to have, for example, enough money. So if I want to do something, I'm not worried about how to pay it. Okay. So
I
like
hear
have,
you. Oh,
yes.
and I hear you.
So
I get that.
So how if we're like if we don't want to put like a dollar amount, so how we're gonna say like how much I need to go up to get to that, like what's how should I have a mindset, how should I set my mind?
You're kind of focusing on so what is it that's going to get you to it? So like we all want to make more money, right? Like everybody says that. Okay. I get it. But have you picked out your roadmap to do that? And what I've just seen is some people, it's like, oh, well, I want this much money. Oh, and now I have it, and it's just still not enough. So I just didn't want you to get kind of tripped up in where it's like, oh, it's just never enough. Or it's like, I can't be happy until I have that. And I feel like the folks that I've personally, and again, I speak from experience. Okay. So take it from my own personal experience. I feel like those people are just never happy people. Like, what is it? So are you doing it because you're starting or running a business? Are you happy with that business, or you're just not happy until you have the financial freedom? Do you see where I'm kind of going? Like, or are you a programmer and are you making this 300,000 a year so that you can progress to that? Like what is it? Or are you a stockbroker? Like what is it that you're going to do to get to that financial freedom? That's what I'm trying to point out, because I think sometimes we're just looking at the end of the road. And while I'm somebody who supports looking at the goals, but it's also like the roadmap to the goal. And if you're not happy along the way, like kind of what's the point, does that make sense? So I would just encourage you to think about, so if you're just like, oh, I just need to make more money, I just need to be financially free, but are you taking the steps to get there? Or are you just so busy thinking about that you're not planning how you're going to get there, where you're coming to your focus? Does that make sense? And let me
Yes,
see.
yes.
Okay.
It makes sense. It makes
So
sense.
I'm not saying not to
Yes,
have it. It's just, I want you to
yes,
think about your I'm like saying,
yes,
guys, your path
yes.
to it. That's so let me see. We've got feeling. Okay. Successes. Living your dreams. And again, I'd say define that dream. So when you're writing that down, I would just say try to be more detailed of what that dream is. That will be help you. Okay, yeah, sure. Oh, I think we are running out of time. I'm sorry. I do have a few other things I need to get to. Let me see here. So I'm sorry I don't have a chance to share on everything, but I just want you to know you are all loved and appreciated. And I know sometimes we want to take action. We're like, oh, but does this person appreciate us? Is my point of view appreciated? It is. Even when it differs from somebody else's, it definitely is appreciated, even when people don't say it. I just want you to know you are appreciated, you are needed, you are loved. And again, I've been talking about this. I have my slide at the end, making your goals. So here's your homework. And I know some people are missed it. Here's your homework. Okay. I want you to make at least one or two solid specific goals for yourself. And also, if you can go back and start out answering the questions, hopefully you wrote them down. I will be posting this so you can pull them again if you didn't. Set an amount of time for you to do it. So sometimes we need the boundaries. Even when I'm teaching, I find it more effective when I say to the students, I'm giving you, 3 minutes. It's got to be done. Sometimes setting a specific end point is good for us and can help us. Like, you're going to write down your goal, set your timer, give yourself 30 minutes. Or give yourself 30 minutes to brainstorm and then give yourself 30 minutes to write it, and make sure it's specific enough to where you can take action. If you're not taking action and not being motivated, that means your goals aren't specific. Well, that's what says to me, that your goals aren't specific enough. They're too broad. You're not able to take action on them. As a project manager, you do this thing called a work breakdown structure, and you take the scope, which I can say is like your goal, and then you break it down into smaller parts. So you should be able to take something and break it down, and then you chip away at each one piece by piece. All right. Or like, and starting with an outline, I find it beneficial when I start with some kind of an outline, like a framework, I call it. So, all right. Celebrate your small rewards. Give yourself credit. Don't be so hard on yourself. If you, wrote things down, if you started doing something, I want you to celebrate, hey, started doing something. That's great. Security isn't not having all the money in the world. That's why it's SMART goals. Yes, you're right, Deborah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a teacher, right? I've got those SMART goals. Security isn't having all the money. That's why I kind of get concerned when people just think about that and you allow that to stress you out. And we're all paying bills. I get it. Really, I wish I had the money to give you. Like, I wish I was a millionaire. But that's why it's like, focus on that roadmap, the path you're going to take to get there, and make sure that that's making you happy and motivated than just getting to the end. And we're only here for a short time, my friends. That's why I wanted to encourage that. So, All right. So thank you so much. You can reach me, Coach Stacy at yahoo.com. You can also write me through the meetup group. Otherwise, I thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome, Carolyn. Thank you so much for your time. I love your feedback. Feel free to email me. Please use kindness. I am trying to do the best I can. I'm new to this, so I appreciate that. If you have any topics you'd like me to continue with, I'm going to work on putting together a training for the vision board, and I will work on that. Again, I'm doing my PMP. I'm just trying to get that out of the way. Again, small goals, right? I have to prioritize everything, but I'm trying to get there. So, oh, thank you so much, Deborah. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Jackie. Reading great. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. And that means so much to me, and your support means a lot to me. And I support you, support me. We're all there for each other. That's what's important. So I wish you all the best. I hope to see you again. Have a great night. Take care. Thank you again.
Thank you.